Because all people want to do in business is meet the right people, but they don't know how to build a network to find the right people.
What did you learn from Alan Sugar?
Selling 100,000 computers a month, you've got no one on the phone.
This is a controversial point, and it's my own feeling of LinkedIn. Is it losing itself?
People want personal, intimate relationships, and it's very, very hard to get it.
I had a sneaky feeling you were going to say that.
And people don't know how to use Twitter. We've got to be reading that 1 or 2 hours a day to stay on the edge, otherwise I'll miss it.
1 or 2 hours a day? You kidding me?
1 or 2 hours every day.
Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast, powered by ActionCOACH UK, the world #1 in business coaching. Since 1993, we've helped thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs worldwide smash through their limits and achieve extraordinary results. This is more than a podcast, it's your blueprint for success. So grab a pen and paper, take notes, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell for weekly growth insights. Let's do this.
ActionCOACH, the help you need to grow your business.
What if you could learn business from someone who's worked alongside Alan Sugar and helped shape the foundations of online communities before LinkedIn ever launched? Today's guest is Thomas Power. He's been on the front line of tech and business for nearly 4 decades, always asking what's next. From the early days at Amstrad to connecting with the brightest minds in Silicon Valley to pioneering digital networks that influence global platforms, Thomas has lived at the cutting edge. In this episode, you'll hear his take on AI, Bitcoin, and community. Stay tuned.
Okay, let's rewind, Thomas. 1986. Where were you in 1986?
I joined Alan Sugar at Amstrad.
Oh my God, you were Alan Sugar's right-hand man.
Oh, that's too generous. No, Malcolm Miller was Alan Sugar's right-hand man. I was just a bag carrier and a box ticker, and a note taker. But it was good times.
What did you learn from Alan Sugar?
I learnt about gross margin. I learnt about cash flow. I learnt about preservation of cash and reserve cash, gross margins on products. I learnt about international distribution of products. I learnt about the pain of customer service.
What do you mean when you say pain of customer service?
Well, it's 1986. You're selling 100,000 computers a month. You've got no call center. You've got no one on the phone. You haven't got a database. You haven't got a CRM. It's not there. And you have to, phone starts ringing. When you sell 100,000 computers a month, the phone starts ringing a lot on reception. And it's like, well, we're getting a phone call every second. Then you think, well, how do you solve a problem like that? And you don't know what a database is. You've never heard of a CRM. And you haven't seen a call center.
What impact has of those lessons had in your business life?
Always to stay on the edge, always to stay on the front line. I'm always on the edge of the tech, wherever the tech is, like now AI, but always on the edge, so I don't miss anything. And make sure the kids are on the edge of everything. I mean, they're always on the edge of whatever they're on the edge of.
Right.
But there's another edge ahead of their edge. And you only get that knowledge on Twitter. You only keep up with the world on Twitter. There's no other place you can keep up with the world.
Really? Why do you say that?
Because those are all the best minds are.
On Twitter?
The best minds in the world are on Twitter. And people don't know how to use Twitter. Most people don't know how to use it. But it's the most advanced platform ever created. Way, way ahead of Facebook.
I want all of the listeners to super pay attention right now because no one's sat in your seat and said that. So I'm paying real attention here. You've got me in. So Twitter...
You've got the highest performing individual in the world running it. He's bought it to run it as his little puppet, his little hobby.
True. Whether you like him or don't like him, he's the highest performing individual on the planet, and to a degree his businesses.
And he arrived in the United States at 21 with $5,000. So it didn't like start with money or a family or an inheritance or a brand or a big lump of money. He's gone from nothing between 21 and 51, I think he's 52 now, from nothing at all from South Africa to the highest performing individual, at least in business. I'm not separating out all the other things that happen in the world, but in business, he's the highest performing individual from a standing start there's ever been. And he owns this thing called Twitter, or X, or XAI, or all the other names for it. But for me, it'll always be Twitter. I'm fond of it, calling it Twitter.
Yeah, it's hard to get rid of that one, isn't it, when you've known
But
it
all
that
the
long?
best minds are there. If you've got to be reading that 1 or 2 hours a day to stay on the edge. Otherwise, I miss it.
1 or 2 hours a day? Are you kidding me?
1 or 2 hours every day. I get up early to read that. I've got to read that.
How early do you get up?
6.
Okay.
I've got to have an hour. I've got to have an hour in the morning on it, and I've got to have an hour in the evening.
What do you
Otherwise,
read? What kind of things do you read on Twitter?
I read all the best minds in the world. They're the best minds in the world. That is the edge. There is no other. There aren't any other people to speak to. That is the edge of the world.
You've got me. You've brought me in, and I'm beginning to believe it. And like, I don't Twitter. I don't tweet or X, and I really need to be.
Well, only if you want to be at the front line.
Right.
Do you need to be at the front line?
Oh,
does your business need to be at the front line? Do your coaches in your
but what on a personal level, to live to your edge, learn from the greatest minds. That's where they're hanging out. Maybe it's there for everybody, and we're just being ignorant to it.
Well, you know the old saying, "Fly with the eagles, and you'll become one." Have you heard of that phrase?
No.
So
but I love it.
My dad used to say that to me as a kid. Fly with the eagles and you become one. Be the best at sports, be the best at business, be the best at hang around the top people. Fly with the eagles and you'll become one.
Who
have
you been flying with over the years besides Alan Sugar?
Well, from Alan Sugar, I met Michael Dell. I'd introduced Michael to Alan. And then I worked with all the directors at Microsoft, Neil Holloway, Sean Orpen, David Svensson, Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer is phenomenal. Michael Dell, phenomenal. And then you got all the tech guys.
Why was Michael Dell phenomenal? Because he's got a pretty big business. Yeah.
We had a big exhibition stand in Olympia, June 1987. Amstrad did. And on the stand next to Amstrad was PCs Limited, the pre-runner name to Dell, because it was originally called PCs Limited when he started it in 1984.
Right.
And he was only 19 when he started it. So we're a year apart, Michael and I. I'm a year older than him. So, I thought I was successful working for the UK's leading billionaire. But next to the stand was PCs Limited, and Alan said, go and find out about that company. Go and find out about that. PCs in jiffy bags, that will never work.
That was a good impression of Alan there, by the way.
It's kind of. And so I went and I asked if I could meet the founder, and I met Michael came over, and I spent 4 hours with him walking around the mezzanine on the top. 4 mind-blowing hours of my life, because I'm 22 and he's 21. And he talked about what his plan was. He didn't have Amstrad in his sights at all. He was focused on overtaking IBM and Compaq, being the biggest in the world. And he explained how he was going to do it. And he did it. Coming back onto the stand to see Alan with the team there. And, he asked me about him. And I said, he's cleverer than you are. And he was 39, I was 22, Michael was 21. And he was really quite shocked, but he was pleased and shocked because he didn't know really what kind of competitor he was dealing with when I said that. But I said, well, I've listened to him for 4 hours. You asked me to get the information. I've got the information. This is it. And I was in shock. He was in shock. The rest of the team were in shock just from the sentence, because he'd never experienced a competitor like that before, particularly not one nearly 20 years his junior. And of course, Dell was nowhere in 1987. They were just emerging. They were just arriving in the UK. But trace forward 40 years and look at Dell and look at Amstrad. And the sentence I said was accurate, but it was just ahead of time. And that's been my life ever since. Things I say are ahead of time.
Are you a futurist?
I think so. I have a lot of context on what's coming next.
What is coming next?
Well, obviously the big areas are AI, Bitcoin money, and community. That's my ABC at the highest level, AI, Bitcoin, and community.
It's good. Luckily, it's an ABC, yeah?
It's a nice ABC. I like to keep those because one is about automation and making humans better. One is about money, and one is about the last thing left for humans, which is community.
Oh, but we all get AIs coming.
We all get that.
We all get that. Bitcoin, why is that coming next?
It's free now. It's free to run. It's free to flow. The Americans have passed the Genius Act last week. That's confirmation now the United States can buy crypto. It was illegal up until last week for Americans to buy crypto. Crypto will explode into one of the biggest industries in the world in the United States and then spread all over the world. And Bitcoin is the forerunner. It's the creator. It's the birth. It's like the Intel Inside. So it's the birthing token. You're going to see loads of these.
Is the time to invest in Bitcoin yesterday?
Yeah, always. Well, one of the wonderful things they say on Twitter, on XAI, whatever name, is they say you get the price of Bitcoin that you deserve to pay. And I think that's right, because some people have paid $1. Some people have paid $200. Some people have paid $5,000. Some people have paid $10,000. Now people have to pay $120,000. So you pay whatever price. You pay at the point at which you understand Bitcoin is the point at which you join the market and you come to the cutting edge of the field. But you pay the price that you have to pay in order for you to learn. Bear in mind, a Bitcoin is likely to be $1 million by the end of the decade and likely to be $50 million by 2050. And of course that sounds completely ridiculous, but that is what's going to happen. And people have to consider that and contextualize that and doubt that and say it's not possible.
Yeah,
but they said about it at every price from 10 cents. And now it's at $120,000 from 10 cents. The compound growth is...
Yeah, but that is what's going to happen in your opinion.
It is.
And it's really important to state that as well, isn't it?
It is.
But you're just saying it with lots of confidence and conviction at the same time. Okay.
Well, I look at the price I came in at Bitcoin myself when I bought it, which was a long time ago. And I look at the company I sit on the board of in Singapore, Genius, that's just bought 200 in the last 6 months, and has announced to the market they're going to buy 10,000 in the next 2 years, 10,000 Bitcoins. And then you look at Michael Saylor, whose company has now acquired 600,000 Bitcoins. And that's the best performing organization in the S&P 500.
Look, you've grabbed all of the listeners' attention on two major points right now. Number one is Twitter X, all right? Number two is Bitcoin. Where's the first place the listeners should go and learn a little bit more about Bitcoin if they're already not investing?
Oh, they could go to GNS in Singapore.
What, on the website?
Yeah, there's a lot of training courses there. They could go to those training courses if they want to get knowledge. Study those courses.
Even YouTube, I'm guessing.
Some are free, some are paid. YouTube is great for learning about Bitcoin. But to get to the front line of the knowledge, it would be back to Twitter.
I had a sneaky feeling you were going to say that, Mr. Power. Putting the power in our hands. All right, community. ABC, community.
The big thing that people want now is deep connection, intimacy, significance, emotional support.
Why?
Because we've all kind of lost ourselves in this world of internet and social media.
That's so true.
We've lost ourselves. We kind of don't really understand it, but do. And we've moved from a conversation environment, an intimate environment like this, where we're talking and actually interacting, to this broadcast environment on social media. It's just broadcast, and it's endless. And it's not really very intimate, and I don't think it's very effective, but it's worked for influencers. But it hasn't worked for the mass. It's worked for influencers. It's worked for broadcasters. And so you've got a loss of identity, a loss of significance, a loss of connection, a loss of relationship. And you've seen that in dating apps. You've seen it across social media. You've seen it across the world. A loss of connection with politics, a loss of connection with business, a loss of connection inside companies. People want that back. People want personal, intimate relationships, and it's very, very hard to get it. And you can't do it at scale anymore. You've got to do it in small, intimate groups. And they're very hard to find validated, highly qualified, really supportive groups around the world. You've got to hunt for them and find them.
Yeah, at this stage, I do want to mention that you're a pioneer of community building worldwide, literally in the worldwide.
Yeah.
If there were some godfathers of community building, you'd be one of them, yeah?
Yeah, I'd be up there with them, certainly.
You know, the big community that everyone knows is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And you know the guy who set up LinkedIn. Yeah?
I do, Reid Hoffman, yeah.
How do you know him?
Well, he was a member of the Academy for a couple of years before he launched LinkedIn.
What did he get from the Academy that made him launch LinkedIn?
He got the recipe, and then he raised $400 million. And he did a phenomenal job, and he has done a phenomenal job. The Academy was like a combination of LinkedIn and Facebook at the same time. It was a social business network. It was both. So it was a bit Facebook-y, it was a bit LinkedIn-y. Did you have that same idea? Well, the thing about the Americans is they like to separate things. So your social life is Facebook, your business life is LinkedIn. Penny and I don't buy that. We think your life, whether
your life is life.
Yeah.
Even Brené Brown now, though, she even says there's no such thing as work-life balance. There's life balance.
Yeah, I think Brené is right on that. You can't separate your life from your work anymore. I mean, you can try, but I don't think you can really do it anymore. And so we've always believed in a social business community approach, not a social approach or a business approach. But in America, they like segregation. And that's why you've ended up with a Facebook and a LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp being subsets of Facebook. But
is that the success behind LinkedIn, the ability to go and raise 400 million?
It's part of the success, but I mean, he did do a phenomenal job building code at pace. He did do a phenomenal job. And he kept it simple, he kept it down to basically a telephone directory. Whereas we did blogs and groups and meetups and events and video, we did a lot, but we were too wide. He was very narrow. And in software, narrow wins. Point solutions win. Very precise solutions win. Wide solutions don't win. You have to be narrow.
Focused. Okay, so this is a controversial point. And it's my own feeling of LinkedIn. Is it losing itself? I mean, I get loads of messages every day from someone selling me this and someone selling me that. That's not what it was originally designed for, is it?
No.
And
no, it's becoming Facebook. It's becoming Instagram.
It is, yeah. It's morphing toward that. Is that? So has it changed its purpose? Or is it
still about connecting business people? I wouldn't say it's changed its purpose. It's a much more mature network, in the sense that it's dare I say older people. I would say it's probably more over 40 than under 40.
Right.
Whereas Instagram and Facebook has got older.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
And Instagram is probably still around 30-ish.
Yeah, and under.
I would say, 30-ish, 30 and down. LinkedIn is probably 40-ish. Our own communities are 50-ish, because we're 61. And then you've got all the stuff that the kids love playing on, which is TikTok, and the messaging, the private messaging app.
Yeah. And X, Twitter.
X is just unique. It's out on its own. Completely misunderstood by, I would say, 99% of the population.
Yeah, me included.
And in reality, if you look at it, even if you take somebody like Musk, who has 220 million followers on it, the engaged people on it is 1 or 2% of that. So you're only talking about 1 or 2 million people in reality, worldwide.
that are engaged deeply in.
Those who are really engaged, and I would be in that 1 or 2 million worldwide who are engaged deeply, who are reading it for an hour a day. It is our newspaper. It's replaced the FT and Bloomberg, even though we still read the FT and still watch Bloomberg. But it's, if you look at, even if you get it further down, you're talking about less than 100 people in 100 cities. Maximum 10,000 people worldwide, and even below that, there's about 300 or 400 minds who are really controlling planet Earth in terms of tech. I'm not talking about wealth. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about tech. And those 300 or 400 minds are the ones I study every day, so that I know when there's a nudge. Because if you miss a nudge in tech, you're dead.
Why did you choose the word study?
Because I must aggregate their knowledge and feed it into our community networks that we build.
And you do that every day?
Every day. Every day.
I believe you. Yeah, you've got.
I do read the Financial Times. I do love watching Bloomberg, because Bloomberg is great financial information. FT is good contextual information, like a long form. But if you want the edge of the minds, and the tech minds rule the world now. The politicians don't rule the world. The business chief executives don't rule. The tech minds rule the world. And you've got less than 10 companies who are running the world. Look at NVIDIA making the AI chips. NVIDIA is worth more than the British and German economy added together. One company is worth more than those two economies, those two stock markets. Can you imagine that? One company is worth more than 70 million people in Britain and 80 million people in Germany. One company.
I'm getting a newfound respect for economics just being sat with you, that's for sure. I mean, look, one part of community is networking, yeah? You've wrote 8 books. Networking for life. Are you a networking expert?
Yeah, I'm a networker. I like to be known as a networker. When I'm dead, I want to be known as just a networker. That's the thing I like. Connecting people is the thing I like the most.
Is that what part of your eulogy, you want people to be known you as a networker?
Yeah, I want to be known as a networker, because I first learnt it on the delicatessen and Waitrose when I was serving the meat and the salami. But when I went to work for Alan Sugar, and he said, go out there and don't come back in until you've got more information than me. That is an interesting thing to receive at 22 years old. Don't come back in the room unless you've got more information than me.
It's powerful, isn't it?
And he's incredibly well informed, incredibly analytical, incredibly good at market research, and incredibly good at product. I don't think people realise how good he is at those particular things, but when you work with him for a few years, then you understand that. And you're forced. You've got a company car, a little Vauxhall Astra. You've got the Yellow Pages, and you've got a telephone on your desk. You've got no mobile phone. You've got no computer. You've got no email. You've got no Google. You've got to get the knowledge. So you've got to go to conferences and events, which I still love. I love conferences and events. And you've got to go and meet people, and you've got to get the knowledge. Now it's fed to you on Twitter in real time all the time.
And then
But back in those days, you had to go and get it. So I got good at it, and I got really good at it. And then I got very, very good at it. And then Penny realised that was a business in itself, just finding the right people and connecting people. And when you go networking, you go to a conference and event, people always walk up to me and say, oh, Thomas, you know all the right people here. Can you introduce me to the right people? Because all people want to do in business is meet the right people. But everyone's definition of the right people is different. But they don't know how to build a network to find the right people. I learn't that as an art form, as a science, as a method. And I stuck it all in there. But we basically implemented that through Academy and then through Bit 100.
Yeah, I definitely got a sense of the student meets the master right now. I think, I'm kind of studying and learning from you on behalf of all of these listeners right now. So you're taking pride in being a networker.
Oh, yeah.
Deep connection, intimacy, significance, and emotional support. That's what you said about community. Is that the same thing for networking? Is that the same thing as a community?
Well, with networking, people have got different drivers. That's for community building. That's what people want from a community. They want all those things. But for networking, people primarily go networking for information, for contacts, and for deals. That's why they go. You go to a networking event and you ask people, how many have come here to sell? And all the hands go up. How many have come here to buy? And no hands go up. So you know why people are there. Networking is about hunting down information, contacts, and deals. Community building is something completely different. That's about supporting people, caring for people, introducing them to the right people, giving them significance, giving them identity. It's completely different. They're different. They're different forms.
Is that where you've learned from Penny?
Oh yeah, she's the master of that. She's absolutely the master of that.
Are you the master of networking? Getting the information, getting the contacts, and making deals happen?
Yes, I mean that's what I do, day in, day out. She looks after the community. She builds it, runs it, operates it, supports it.
It's a beautiful
I love
distinction between the two, though. That is.
They're very different.
And
One is a hunter, one is a farmer.
that's so true.
She's a farmer. I'm a hunter. I like to hunt things down. I can hunt down anything.
It's a match made in heaven, this, isn't it? It's yin and yang.
But she was smart enough to pick it up and turn it into a business with Academy and with Bit 100. I never saw that. So you can still be hunting on the edge, but you can miss things because you miss things at the side. Penny's very good at seeing the width. I'm very good at seeing the narrow. And obviously we brainwashed the kids in that for the last 30 years. So they've all taken bits of it.
Well, we're going to meet the kids. We're going to meet the kids. Let's see if you have brainwashed them in the right way. You're a reader as well, yeah?
Yeah, I love my reading.
What's the best 3 books that you've ever read?
Oh, that's a great question. David Weinberger, Small Pieces Loosely Joined, 2005.
I love your quote of the year.
Small pieces loosely joined. That's the world we've ended up in. He wrote that 20 years ago.
He's a futurist.
Yes. I don't think David is still alive now, actually. He might be. But small pieces loosely joined is the world we now live in. And he saw it in 2005, and I read that. And it was a phenomenal read. But he saw now, then. And that's like a real gift.
So it's a little bit like what you're priding yourself on doing the same with your communities, ABC.
Yeah, but you know, if you really want to be on the edge, you've got to be in Silicon Valley all the time. You've got to live there, hunt there, go to every conference and event. If you want to find everything.
How many conferences have you been to out in Silicon Valley?
Oh, God, hundreds. No idea, hundreds. Hundreds. You've got to find the information. Don't come back in this room until you've got more information than me.
How much is that sort of demand? Let's put that as a demand, yeah? That Alan Sugar gave on you. Don't come back in this room until you got more information. How much has that statement had on your life and who you've become?
Oh, massive. Massive, that one sentence. Massive. Massive. I mean, I had 4 hours with Michael Dell at that conference. I saw Michael at a conference in London 25 years later, about 10 years ago. I asked him if he remembered our conversation from June 1987. He remembered it verbatim.
21-year-old sharing you his vision and dream.
In 1987, he
We're not looking at Amstrad, we're going after these guys.
Yeah. When you're with these brilliant minds like Alan, like Michael, like Steve Ballmer, these billionaires have memories that you cannot believe. They can remember everything verbatim, like they're running a video cam, like the cam here, like they're running it all the time, and they can remember every name, every topic, every subject. James said this at this time. This is what you said on Friday. You said this on Tuesday. You said this last Monday, and they just remember everything, and they have these brilliant minds, which is probably a form of autism, right? And they all have it. And when you're in their company and when you experience it, you learn bits of technique from them. But you know when you're not a billionaire. But you also know when you're in the company of billionaires. And I've experienced many through Alan and through Microsoft and through Dell.
Small pieces, loosely joined.
David Weinberg, yeah.
Give us the 2 other books, just short.
Well, obviously, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich,
Yeah.
1937.
Amazing. Yep.
Glorious.
Incredible. I read it every year. Once a year.
You're doing the right thing, James. That's a beautiful, beautiful book.
Yeah. And what else? The third one?
It's written by a French philosopher, Pierre de Tilliard. It was written in 1922. It's called The Phenomenon of Man. And in it, back in the 1920s, he described a concept called the noosphere, Noosphere, about the birth of a global mind where we're all connected. And the noosphere is effectively what we now have as Twitter.
Yeah, I was going to say the same there.
Because it's a global
We're
mind.
bringing it all...
And he wrote that 100 years ago. And I read that in 2005.
We should really call this podcast The Edge of the Minds.
The edge of the minds. You have to be on the edge to survive. All the margin is at the front. But all the risk is at the front as well. You spend a lot of money, you can waste a lot of money at the front line. You risk capital, you blow capital. Which we're now seeing with, Musk chasing down OpenAI to try and catch ChatGPT, which I don't think he can catch. But the AI breakthrough is too massive.
There's so many favourite parts of this interview. The edge of minds I love. Fly with the eagles and you become one. That phrase that your dad gave you, that was unbelievable. I'm taking that. Yeah. That's going on the wall in my office.
He's probably got that from a famous writer from the 1950s.
The beautiful thing about an eagle, and there's a bit of spirituality coming out in here, where an eagle flies, it can see everything that's going down there.
Yeah.
And it's connected to the heavens.
Yeah.
It's the best of both places. It's where futurists live.
Do you know on YouTube they put cams on the back of eagles and they fly around? And you can watch them on YouTube, and I like watching them.
Well, you're flying with the eagles. Well, look, the favourite bit, the eagles, the ABC, the Bitcoin, what you said about their Twitter, the difference between community and networking. In such a short session, we have had such good action-packed fuel for all the listeners. What's been your favourite part?
Being interviewed by you. You're a great listener. You're a great networker.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Starting your own business was an exciting time, wasn't it? The good days you had and the bad. You knew you'd have to work hard, but you did it for your future. Lately, though, you're missing out on the important things in life. Time seems to be slipping by. So make the change. Claim back your work-life balance and grow your business today. Visit actioncoach.co.uk